Hello and welcome to Rosberry Crafts, my YouTube channel where I share all my crafty adventures. Today is August 21st, 2023, and this is episode 65. I'm back! You may have noticed if you've been watching for a while that I have not posted an episode. We went on a 6-week summer adventure and I have been posting little short clips of some of the places we went. There was a lot of driving time, so it's a lot of videos from the truck. So, hopefully you've enjoyed seeing some of the great country of Canada. There are some of the US coming up. We went back home through the US. But that's not what you're here for today. Today is episode 65. I'm really rusty, but we are going to get into it. So welcome to any new viewers and welcome back to all you returning viewers. Man, I missed you guys. My name is Roz and I live in Lake Country, British Columbia, Canada with my husband and my 2 kids who are 13 and 11. Today for you, I have what am I wearing, finished objects, works in progress, stash, events, and some chatter. So make sure you have a nice hot cup of tea and a good knitting project. It's gonna be a while. Today I am wearing my amethyst shawl. This is a shawl I knit last year. It has 2 skeins of fingering weight yarn and just some fun eyelets. The pattern is called Amethyst Triangle Shawl and it is a very elongated triangle. It's by Undeniable Glitter, who is Alyssa. The yarn that I used for these is 2 Knit Picks yarns. They are Knit Picks Hand Painted Stroll. The purple that's at the center here is the Pansy Tonals, and it seems more variegated than tonal to me because it's definitely a light purple and a dark purple. And then the other color that I used is called Make Believe, and it has this dark purple and light purple in it, and then also the teal and green as well. So yeah, this pattern only calls for 1 skein of yarn, but I was enjoying it so much, and it wasn't quite big enough with 1 skein. I don't know if my gauge was different or just, it definitely was big enough, like you could totally wear it. It was just more of a shawlette, and I love a good thick shawl. When I'm cold, I want to put something warm on. I keep forgetting where to look. I keep looking over here and not over here. I'm gonna get back into this, guys. So that is it. I think that's everything I wanted to talk about for this shawl. Let's move on to finished objects. My one and only finished object today is Taylor's Advent Cowl. So this is a cowl I just cast on, I think 200 stitches. It's all in my Ravelry project page. And I did base the numbers. I kind of calculated out how long I would want it based on a cowl pattern from Jennifer Lassonde called the Riley Rose Cowl, but I didn't use that pattern at all, and in fact she has fewer stitches around, but I knew I wanted to make this nice and big for Taylor, so that's my daughter. She's 11, but she can pull it up over her head to make it kind of like a snood, or she can just wear it. She'll get a lot of use out of this. And so yeah, I just did 9 rows, or as much as I had left of each of these yarns. So some of them are fewer than 9 rows, but I don't think you notice. She picked the order that she wanted them in, and I think it turned out super fun. So yeah. The yarn that I used is Ginger Snap that her 2021 Advent skein, her Santa's favorite. So yeah, I think it turned out super nice. It's blocked. It's in her drawer. It's 30 degrees outside, so I don't think she's going to wear it anytime soon, but there we are. There we are. What else do I want to say that I got? Yeah, that's it. This was perfect car knitting. we stopped every 2-ish hours, sometimes 2 to 3 hours. It's just good to have a break. Everybody goes to the bathroom, you stretch your legs, stretch your back. So it worked really well for me to have a color or two in my bag, and I didn't need to have all of them. And then when we stopped, I could just pop into the trailer and get the next color if I needed it. So that one is done. A couple more things. I'm calling it, they're not finished objects, but I don't know where else to put them in my segments. So this is all the leftovers from that. Now, wow, that color is blowing out really. I mean, it is bright, but this is all I have left over now from that advent calendar. Some of the colors I used up the entire thing in the cowl, so this is not a complete set anymore. And with all the different projects I've made, you know, there's just some of them have like not even a gram, some of them are a few. So I just made this ball. I didn't even magic knot it or anything, but I think I'm just going to put it into my scrappy blanket and call it good. I did have a foolproof cowl cast on, but I realized fairly quickly that with the leftovers of what from after what Taylor had, the colors were not going to line up the same. It was going to be all weird colors. Half of it, you know, the colors were not going to blend nicely like I envisioned, and I wouldn't have enough. So I would need to have more leftover yarn to add to it, or another whole skein, and I'd already done like a big piece of it, and it wasn't working. So I'm going to call this leftovers and move on. It's still in my stash because that is a significant amount of yarn. I haven't weighed it, but so we'll see. But I'm just gonna put it in that shelf. You might have noticed a different location today. Mike found this lovely backdrop and I've pinned it to the wall. So my yarn wall is over here now and my computer's over here, which is usually the table that I used, and then my sewing table is behind you. So we'll see. We'll see how that works. The other thing that I frogged is out of this yarn. So I had started a Hill and Dale cowl, but it needs bigger needles. I think the cast on was twisted. It just wasn't working. It was like really, the stitches were really tight and uncomfortable to work. So I am going to save this for something else. That's what I'm done. Let's move on to works in progress. My first work in progress, I am sorry to say, has not had much work on it. This is my Ripple camisole, and if you remember my last episode, before I went on my summer adventure, I was like, I'm totally gonna finish this in like a week. And yet, here we are. I mean, I have worked on it a fair bit, but not enough. This is not gonna cover me. So I still have like another 5 inches to do on this because it is 3x3 ribbing, but so when you stretch it out, it's going to go around me. But you can see as it's sitting there, when you stretch it out, it gets much shorter. So yeah, and I'm adding extra length to the pattern because I have extra yarn. So, and I don't really do cropped things. I'm not that person. I don't mind short things because I do wear a lot of high-waisted pants, but I don't want it cropped so much that my tummy's hanging out. Anyway, let's go over the details. I have it in my rainbow bag, which I love. It fits perfect in there. And the pattern is the Ripple camisole by Jessie Made Designs. She has a lot of tank top patterns, and they're very size inclusive, and she gives you all the help you need in order to like add length here, or if you need more room here, this is where to do it, or here's where you measure your straps. Detailed schematics, everything. Check out her patterns. They're wonderful. The yarn is some leftovers I have from a sweater that I made for Taylor, and it is a Knit Picks Stroll fingering in Blue Yonder tonal. And there's definitely some pooling and flashing and stuff happening. I am not doing 2 skeins at a time, helical knitting, even though I probably should have. I did not. And yeah, but that's okay. I don't mind. Most likely this will be worn under other things. Maybe you'll see like the top of it peeking out of a V-neck sweater or something, but yeah, I'm not too concerned about it. It's my first tank top as well, so it's kind of like a what's it called in sewing? Where you make like a practice garment. It's a practice garment. It's a practice tank top to see how I like the fit of it. I also get really cold. My office is downstairs and there's a cement floor because we don't do basements in the Okanagan. So it's like a basement, but it's not underground. Anyway, it gets very cold. And I like to have wool next to me. So I thought if I have a nice little wool undershirt, then I will be much warmer through the winter. All right, next up, I have a giant blob of purple. Ooh, that color is not, it's not quite that variegated in person, but there you go. All right, let's talk about what this is. Hopefully I didn't scratch my microphone again. This is my Stonewall sweater. The Stonewall is a pattern by Alicia Plummer. And I have modified it a bit, as I usually do. She does have hers as a long sweater, kind of covering your bum to wear with leggings and stuff. I have kept that piece of it. I was waffling on doing the waist shaping, but I did the waist shaping. I do have some curve to me, especially on the lower half, and sweaters, they just fit better when they're fitted like that. I do have some positive ease in here, but like 2 inches, so not a lot. So yeah, I'm very happy with it so far. I've done all the body, and this will go all the way up to my underarms. So I'm at the point now where I'm ready to attach for sleeves. And in her pattern as well, she has a dot stitch all the way up. I don't know if I have it. No, this was just my swatch. Did I rip it out? Yeah, I must have ripped it out. I had done a bunch and I had put that dot stitch in. And then when I got to the increases, I got really confused about how I was supposed to do the dot stitch. The counting was messing with me, which is fine. I just needed to count it better and pay attention to what I was doing instead of mindlessly just plowing ahead. But I also noticed that you couldn't really see it because the yarn was so dark. So I was like, why am I putting myself through this headache for something you're not even going to see on the sweater? And so I just went with the plain stockinette stitch. So yeah, finished all the way up to the underarm, and now I have 3/4 of a sleeve. So I have one more increase to do. So basically what I do with my increases is I put a stitch marker in every time I do an increase, and I actually do it the stitch before, anyway, it doesn't matter. And so I do it on the one sleeve, and I hook them onto the stitch marker, and I'm copying this from Jasmine of the Knit More Girls, so I didn't make it up. And then, so I have one more to do because I have this one is attached here, but I have one more left. So I just have to remember how many rounds I do in between, which of course I can count between these if I need to. And then when I do the second sleeve, I take the stitch marker from here and put it on when I do the increases on the second sleeve, and then I have perfectly matching sleeves. Sometimes I get overzealous and I do too many rounds and then increase, but they will be pretty close to matching sleeves. The yarn that I'm using for this sweater is Fireweed Fibre Co in her cedar worsted base, and I just picked up this sweater quantity this year. I think she was having a sale or like a end of the year clear out or something like that. The color is called Purple Kush. So it is like a deep, deep purple. Clearly I like that color. Purple and teal. And yes, but I'm very much enjoying that pattern. The only other decision I need to make, because I just have the one ball of yarn attached here, is, so in the pattern she says to use the reverse stockinette side, so you knit the sleeves and then you turn them inside out. So do I want the stockinette side, or do I want the reverse stockinette side? Because it might be a neat detail to have the stockinette on the front of the sweater and the reverse stockinette on the sleeve. I don't know. So I don't need to decide until I put it all together. So, but there we go. Sleeve. Oh no. Oh, and I forgot to say, I am doing helical knitting on the body of that sweater. And you can I did it after a certain point. Can you tell which end I didn't? So this is non-helical knitting to about here, and then helical knitting. So, I mean, it'll be fine. It's not as pronounced in person. It's much brighter, the difference on camera, but there you go. It works, you guys. It works. So that is it for that. Let's move on to my next work in progress. Yes, there's going to be a lot today because, you know, it's been a few weeks. Next up, I have my Simple Hug Cardi. And this is a pattern by the Cozy Up Knits, which is two sisters from Alberta. They also have a YouTube channel, and if you're not watching them, you need to go watch them because they are hilarious. Jamie and I suffer from the same affliction of being over 40, and if you don't have something warm on your neck, you're cold all the time. And here's where I am. So I just done the ribbing before I left, and I honestly didn't work on this a lot because there are 3 balls of yarn attached to this right now. So it was not an easy travel project, but yeah, I'm loving it. It's so soft and cozy. So the yarn that I'm using for this is some loops and thread, Joy DK. So it's 100% acrylic, but it is very soft. So I have Lagoon and I have Tropical. So those are the 2 colors that I'm using, and you can see, so I'm doing 8 rows of the Lagoon because I have more of that, and then 4 rows of the Tropical, and you're kind of getting, so there's like a bit of blue and then the purple and then the peachy kind of coral color, and yeah, and then the other thing that I'm using is some really old stash. This is Alan.com, who's no longer in business, and this is their Super Kid mohair. So it's nylon and mohair, and it's lace weight. I have 4 balls of this. Like, it's so thin, but it's working perfect in this pattern. Just gives it some blend and some fluff, and yes. So just a big oversized cardigan if you haven't seen this. Yeah, just a nice throw it on. I feel like this is, I'm gonna live in this for the winter if I finish it this winter, and especially when I'm just sitting in my office chair just to have it on. If I'm like doing stuff around the house, I can picture it being like sloppy and falling off, and I'll just take it off because it's annoying me. But sitting on the couch knitting or curled up in a chair, it'd be perfect. Okay, moving on. What's next? I still have 3 more projects, guys. How'd that happen? Okay, I have not worked on these much, but I have worked on them a little bit. It doesn't look like much. Looks like the cuff of a sock, to be honest. But these are my Dream Fingerless Mitts. This is a pattern by Marcia Healy. It's a friend of mine, local friend of mine. And she used to have a podcast. She doesn't post things very often anymore, but sometimes she does under Very Little. So, but yeah, these are going to be fingerless mitts for Mike. And they are made out of mustache yarns in their perfect must match color, and this is Hogwarts, and it's not a full skein. I bought some leftovers, and this was one of them, but I think it's like a 96 gram skein, so maybe I'll make some scrappy socks out of the rest of it. Not sure. So yeah, Dream Fingerless Mitts, been worked on a little bit. Okay, here's another tale of woe. So first I will show you the beautiful yarn. So this pattern is Traveling Woman by Liz Abernate. And yeah, So the pattern is great. Everything is great about it. The yarn is great. At just my own, like, not liking how it was working. I'm liking how it's working now, but I've started the lace, and so that's good. I'm happy with the lace, but it takes brain power that I just don't have right now. So I have not worked on this a lot. Again, it was not a good choice for travel knitting. Don't worry, I didn't run out of knitting while I was going. I honestly didn't knit as much as I thought I would because it was so humid. You know how hard it is to have wool sliding through your hands when you're just sweating, just sitting there? It's gross. It's gross. Anyway, moving on. This beautiful yarn is Gauge Dye Works. And this I actually got when they were not Gauge Dye Works and they were Caterpillar Green, which is a very long time ago. This is their MCN fingering in the self-striping, and the colorway is Peacock. So I'm going to go through these greens and into these lovely blues. And yeah, I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to get to the end of the yarn and just use it all up because I love it. It is so soft. Yeah. Anyway, ripped it out, cast it back on, like the pattern now, like the gauge that I'm getting now. Everything is working. I just need time to sit down and focus on it. And once I get the pattern, the lace pattern repeat a few times, I think I'll be much more comfortable with it. Just at the moment, I'm like counting every single stitch. Okay, one last project. And this did get a lot of work. So I started at this end, and it's showing up very orange, but it's definitely like a reddy orange. And then there's like the true orange, and then into yellow and into green. So this is the Litmus Cowl by Jude of Stranded Dye Works. And I'm using two gradient, what are they called? Knit Picks Stroll Gradient. So the orange and yellow was called Lion Fire, and now I've used it all up. And I didn't want to have a stark line to the green, but I did not plan very well. So I just have a very small fade because I've used up all the yellow now. It'll be fine. It'll be wrapped around my neck. Nobody's going to notice. And the green then goes into a blue. And then this really dark jean, dark jean color. Yeah, so I think that is going to give me, because this is half of it, I think that's going to give me a nice long looped cowl, rainbow-esque without being too rainbow-y. And yeah. Oh, the other yarn was called Deep Dive. I don't think I said the colorway name. I'm trying to like power through all my works in progress, and because I got a lot of yarn to show you guys, and but also remember how to do all of this. All right, that is it for works in progress. Are you ready for stash? Before I get into all of my travel yarn, I've got some crinkling for you. So I'm still getting my Fireweed Fibre Co monthly sock club, and this year's theme is Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So I have July's. I've seen some pictures of it already, but I'm trying to ignore that I know what it looks like. But I love it. It helps if I hold it up the right way. So this is on her Sweet Pea sock, which is an 80% superwash merino and 20% nylon. There's 100 grams of the main skein and two 20-gram minis. This purple, that's closer. It's like a true purple. It's definitely on the blue side. And this color, oh, with like this is so good. Anyway, this one is called One Moment of True Happiness. So put that aside to photograph that. So that was July, and now we have August because I was away. And here, whoop, is August. This screams fall. Like, who's ready for pumpkin spice and chai lattes and blankets cozy next to the fire? So this is Don't Speak Latin in Front of the Books. And again, I got the 100-gram skein with the 2 minis. This is like deep chocolate with like purple-ish. And that, oh, that maroon. Woo, so nice. Okay, so that's those 2. I am now going to get into all the things that I purchased. I just want to preface it with, I understand if you want to skip this section, that's why I put chapters in. So feel free to skip over to events. I don't have a problem with it. I am going to power through pretty quickly all the things, but I probably will tangent, and I probably will tell a few stories about the yarn and where I got it from, if there was anything interesting about it, or interesting about the place that we went to, where we got them, or how much I love the yarn store, or stuff like that. I also understand that I'm very privileged in the amount of yarn that I was able to buy on this trip, and the amount that I was even able to go on this trip with my family. So I just want to recognize that before I dive into all of this. Okay? Okay. So see you in the next section if you're not interested. Otherwise, go refill your tea and get ready. So first up, we have Olive Park Yarns, and I bought this in Ontario, but it is actually dyed in Manitoba. So we didn't go to any yarn stores until we got into Ontario, just because we were just driving for 4 days to get where we needed to be. Yeah, so this is dyed in Manitoba, and Olive Park Yarns. This is an 80/20 superwash merino and nylon. So perfect for socks or a hat. It's not my normal colors, but it just reminds me of like a hummingbird or something with all the bright colors. So love that. So this was at, and I'm gonna blank on all of the store names and so I wrote as many details as I could in Ravelry. So if you're wondering, you can check out my stash in Ravelry. I will link to as many things as I can down below. If you have further questions, just ask me and I will try to remember. I did take pictures of quite a few places. But yeah, so that was super fun. I think this was in Kenora, maybe somewhere around there in Ontario. So like not far into Ontario. So that's the first one. And then the next place, I don't think there was, I'm trying to remember now, there wasn't anywhere else in Ontario because we kind of just drove through a lot of it. I did go, which I think is already up there, to a sheep farm, but I didn't buy anything there. The sheep were not processed for wool. That's not true. They were processed for their wool. They were also, but most of that wool went into blankets and other woolen things. They made like hide slippers and rugs and things like that. And they had quite a variety of wool, but it was all big box store wool. So like Cascade and Berroco. So I didn't buy anything there. I did do quite a bit of video footage in there because it was neat. A lot of the products were actually from elsewhere. So there was Irish sweaters from Ireland. There was a bunch of stuff from Peru and other South American countries. There was some Iceland stuff. So there was definitely a lot of cool stuff there, but just nothing that spoke to me. The next place that we stopped was the Mariner's Daughter. And this was in Lunenburg in Nova Scotia. And she very nicely gave me a pin, and I don't remember her name, but I will be putting that on my bag. I'm not sure if it was the owner that was there that day, but she showed me all the local yarns, and what I ended up with was this. And it's hard to see, but so this cream skein is a hand spun yarn, and this is a hand dyed yarn. So it's a really cool kit. It comes with a pattern. I don't know whether I'll make that hat or not. But yeah, it was just too beautiful not to. And like hand spun and hand dyed yarn. So there's one of each. So this is a commercially spun yarn that's hand dyed. And then the hand spun, like, couldn't resist. Okay. The next place was nearby in Mahone Bay. And these were dyed by, where is it now? It's Artisan Yarns by the Dye Guy, and it's only sold at Encompass, which is actually a needlepoint store. But they have yarn. They're the only, in Mahone Bay, they're the only yarn store left. There used to be 3, and now there's 1. So, yeah. So I just picked up, these are both worsted weight skeins. I think they'll make fun hats or something. Not together, but fun colors. I let the kids kind of pick some colors because I was like, you know what, we're here, let's do it. So those were both Nova Scotia. And now that I'm thinking about it, I'm completely out of order, but that's okay. I'm going to go get the stuff from New Brunswick. All right, on to New Brunswick. So I picked up, and I know it's Briggs Little, and I can get it a lot of different places. But this, I've never seen the sport, and this is a single ply. So it's 100% wool in a single ply. It is like, you can see, it's like twisty, and yeah. I have no idea what I'm going to do with it. Again, it's purple. It's not, that's kind of more true color there, but yeah. I don't think I'm going to make socks out of it. It's definitely going to be something like a shawl or an infinity cowl or something, but that's what I got. I don't have much sport yarn, and this is a little bit thick and thin because it's singles. So I'm excited to figure out something to do with that. Next up, I have seen this brand before, but I have never seen it in person. This is Nerds with Needles, and this color is Invisibility Cloak. It was the only one there, and I like the sparkle and the look how, like, it's hard to see with the sparkle, but it is like deep colors. So this is definitely going to be a shawl or a cowl or something. Just love it. And I think they're, oh, and I left the price tags on. Sorry, guys. Ignore that. You didn't see that. And the price tags are on these ones too. I've also been eyeballing these for a long time. So this is Turtlepurl, and she does self-striping yarn into matching like sets. So it says, we're dyeing for you to match. This yarn has been dyed to be self-striping. Both strands were dyed together. This will create matching socks that you can easily knit at 2 at a time. For matching socks, ensure you start from the same end of the ball. So you have to do a bit of work and make sure that you're starting at the same point, or the same end of the yarn. But yeah, so this one is, where is it here? Winter's Coming. You can see the thing. And then this one is called Pow. And actually, Mike picked this one out. So these ones will be mine and these ones will be his. So yep, there's those. Let's move on to Prince Edward Island. So while we were on Prince Edward Island, I had great plans to go to many fibre places. And I didn't get to like half of them, but that's okay, because I'm sure we'll go back one day. We still had a wonderful time on PEI. That was one of our favorite overall spots. We did go to the Island Hill farm, and there it's like a petting zoo kind of farm. They have all sorts of animals, sheep and alpaca included. Just a few sheep. So, which ones are we looking at here? So I got yarn that was dyed locally, and only is sold at the farm. So this is an organic merino. It says eco-processed organic merino and nylon. And this one is called Little Pond, and this one is called Gramps Shirt. So They are dyed locally. So, but they're not milled locally. And this is the dyer, but she only sells them there, and it just has like a Gmail address on it. You can't get them on a website or anything else, which I thought I have to buy them. And then this is also dyed by her, and this was just a one-off, but this is the Superwash Blue Face Leicester and nylon, and this is the wool from the sheep on the Island farm that is sent away to be milled, and then she dyes it. So very cool. These, I think this will be socks for me. Like it's not like, obviously this is merino, it's like super soft, but this is like soft and yet sturdy. Like you're like, this is gonna last forever. Okay, I'm just throwing the yarn on the floor when I'm done. So that was a really cool find at a farm we just happened upon. Well, I looked it up ahead of time. I knew it was there, but we were done our other activities earlier and looking for something to do, and it was on the way back to the campsite. So very happy that we stopped in there. Okay, next up are these lovely skeins. So this was an interesting store that I went to. This isn't not Botanical Knits. This was just one of the brands they had there. And this is dyed in Nova Scotia, but I found it in PEI. So this was at an interesting store called Trailside Yarns, and they share the space with a mattress store. So I took a video of it because there's one room that has like a doorway, like an open doorway to another room. So you come in, and then you go into the one yarn room, and you can look all around. It's a pretty decent store size. And then you come out, and there's like some more shelves of yarn. And then right behind that is mattresses and home decor. And so it was interesting. It was interesting. So this is a cotton wool blend, and I got Amethyst, which it's like a purpley gray, and this is Tart. So I think I'm gonna make a summer top out of these two. I let Taylor pick the colors because she's good like that. So I think I'm gonna make a summer top out of these two. I don't know when, but I think the Rocket Tee, maybe. I think those would look really cool striped together. So there are those. And there I also found, they had so many different yarns. Like the boys were sitting in the car waiting for us, so I didn't want to take too long, but I could have spent a lot of time in this store. And it was like a little strip mall. It was very odd, but inside it was amazing. I found some Berroco, Berroco Remix Light. So this is 100% recycled fibers, 30% nylon, 27% cotton, 24% acrylic, 10% silk, and 9% linen. I have been looking for some of this. I know I can buy it online, but I really wanted to feel it because I was worried that it was going to be scratchy or hard to work with, but it is delightful and wonderful. I have 4 balls of it in this color, whatever color it is. I don't know. It's like a jean color. And I'm going to make some sort of sweater out of this. I don't know what, but yes, I'm very, very excited about this. So I have 4 balls, which was all they had in this color. They had some grays where they had more balls of it. But I did the math. There are 400 meters in a ball. So I think I can get a sweater out of this. So out of 4 balls. So we'll see. Okay. Where to next? Okay, so I'm trying to go in order here. We're on to Quebec City. Quick backstory. In Montreal, I wanted to go to Biscotte Yarns, and because there was one close to somewhere else that we were going, but the time of day didn't work, and we tried to pack too many things into a day, so we ended up not going. And then I remembered that they have a store in Quebec. So in Quebec City, we had more time somehow, and even though I feel like we did more things in Quebec City and we had the same number of nights, but anyway, we had time to go to the yarn store. It was a bit out of the way, but we were in our truck, so it was fine. And I think that was one of everybody's favorite places. So I don't even know where to start with this. I'm going to start here. So I only bought their brand, the Biscotte yarn. So this is some DK that I bought. So it's 90% superwash merino and 10% silk. I have no idea what this will be. But I love it. Maybe a hat. Maybe. I don't know. It's got purples and like grays. Yep. Love it. And what's next? Okay. I had to get some self-striping yarn, of course. So this is it's 85 superwash merino, 15% nylon. And this is called My Lilacs. So blues, purples. Are you surprised? So this is a sock weight yarn. And this one is also a sock weight yarn. And this one's called Ocean. So these are both self-striping. These will be socks. They are delightful and soft and wonderful. The next set of yarns are tweed. So these are both fingering weight yarn as well. And this one is Kalamata and this one is Flamboyant. And they're both on the serious base. All the tweeds have Harry Potter names. My family was in love. They're like, they love the colors of the yarn. They love the names of the yarn. Like the fingering was serious. Taylor got some thicker stuff that was Hagrid. Anyway, yeah, they just loved it all. And yeah, so these are both going to be socks for Mike. Probably not together, probably just separate socks. But he loved the tweed, so, or maybe a hat, I don't know. I think that dark green would look nice in a hat too. But he likes bright fun socks, so definitely the red for him. And my son is following in my husband's bright sock love, and he picked out this. Yes, it is that bright. It is highlighter yellow. That's what he wants for socks. Highlighter yellow socks. And he will wear them too because he's 13 and is able to do that. All right. So that was it for all my yarny adventures in Quebec. We just went to the one store, but everyone came in and we spent a bit of time there. The store was huge and they had a ton of other yarns too, but of course I was there for their yarn. So there we are. Okay, last up, I went to a yarn store. I've got two left. So we went to a yarn store in Wisconsin when we were at Road America in Sheboygan, and then we went to one in Montana. So I'm almost done, guys. All right, so in Sheboygan, we went to this cute little yarn store called The Lost Sheep, and I picked up these two. They're looking very similar, but they're not. This is the Fibre Co. I have heard of them before, but I've never felt their yarn. This is their Cumbria base, which I believe is a DK, worsted DK. Anyway, so there's this really deep teal and then like a navy. This is like super dark. So I have these two. I probably won't do something together, but it's just some nice hats or cowls or set. I don't know, but I don't think they really go together. But that one, it's really hard to capture this one, but it's got much more green than what it's showing up as on the camera. But yeah, I was super excited for those. They are wool and mohair, 90-10 wool and mohair. So yeah, but they're soft, super, super soft. So that was very exciting. And while I was there, we looked in the sale bin, of course, and there was this hot pink yarn. And Taylor says, "Can I have a headband out of this?" And I was like, sure. And then she said, can you make headbands for all of my friends out of this? And I was like, well, I don't know how many I can make. And there's a second ball, so I have 2 of these. They are the 50-gram balls or 25-gram balls. 50 grams. So yeah, it's a 50-gram ball. I'm pretty sure I can make like 4 or 5 headbands out of 2 of these. So it's just a hot pink color sock yarn. It must have nylon in it. I can't remember now. Anyway, it's the Regia 4-ply. It's good stuff. Also in the sale bin was this. So this is some Lana Gross Lana Pura Solo Lino, and it is linen. I don't remember exactly what it is. But yeah, it's majority linen, and I have 6 balls of it. It's like a really deep eggplant color. It's almost black, but it's definitely purple, so it's not really showing up. But yeah, so I have 6 balls of this. I think I might have to hand wind all of these balls because as soon as you take the tag out, the whole thing just collapses on itself. So, but yeah, I think I'm gonna make a top out of this. I think I'm gonna make a ranunculus. I have not made a ranunculus, and I've been looking for some good yarn for that. So that will be a nice summer top that I can make eventually at some point. So yeah, that is everything we got at the Lost Sheep. Of course, I'm remembering the names now because these are the most recent places we went to. The last one that I want to talk about, I'm just looking around on my floor, I think this is all of it now, is the Yarn Bar. So this is in Billings, Montana. We love Billings. It is a very cool, hip place. If you ever go there, you have to go to the Yarn Bar and you have to go to Uber Brew. So they give me a pencil too, which I think I'll probably give to the kids, but there we are. And I have stickers somewhere. I don't know. There was 3 of them working that day. They were chit-chatting with us the whole time, asking us about our trip and all sorts of stuff, engaging with the kids, which is always nice when you go into a store, especially when it's really quiet and you're the only ones in there. You know, they're willing. I mean, my kids are pretty friendly, but you know, just willing to just talk to the kids. And they didn't talk to them like they were babies. They talked to them like people. Anyway. So I bought a few things. First, I'm going to show you this. Yes, this is, I just got to pick up one. So now I'm dropping everything. Cooper saw this. Actually, he saw a different one that was the same color that was DK. And he said, can you put this as the toes on my highlighter socks? So there we go. I have a mini to go along with his crazy socks. Yeah, it's a 20-gram mini, so I should be able to get heels and toes out of it at the very least. So, yep. There you go. There is that. So that's the first one. Next up is a local Montana dyer from Billings. Their name is Two Sisters Yarn Company, and it's self-striping yarn, and yes, this is glitter. So this is Neon is the New Gray. Oh, I just love it so much. I have no idea how, I'm assuming that it's going to be like color gray, color gray, color gray, but I have no idea. This is a 75 superwash merino, 20 nylon, 5 stellina. So 100 grams. So yeah, there's that one. And then of course my husband picked out one too. This is called The Last Jedi. Star Wars reference, but this is totally his color alley. It's also self-striping, so we'll have to see what kind of colors that comes up with. That's very cool. And then I saw this. This was on their front table display, and these are one-of-a-kind colors. You can't get them. She doesn't repeat any of her colors, so when they're gone, they're gone. And there was these 2 skeins left, and I had to have them. So this is a DK 100% superwash merino, and yeah, but like, look at these colors, guys. So cool. I have no idea what I'm going to make, but there was 2 skeins of DK, so I don't know. Drop part of it. Okay, and the last thing, this was very cool. Again, I have no idea what I'm going to make with it. This is from, now I can't remember, Ranching Tradition Fiber. They're Tobacco Root Valley 100% Targhee Rambouillet wool. And this is Montana raised and processed and then naturally dyed. So this color is called Madison, and this color, it's like a red, but it's not like it's like a pinky red. It's called choke cherry. So I don't know what they use to dye them, but they are naturally dyed, and they are sheep and processed in Montana. So I had to get two. I have no idea what I'm going to do with them. They do kind of look good together. Maybe some color work. I don't know. We'll see. I think that is it. I'm going to stop rambling on now. If you take a look at my Instagram, you'll see I laid out all of the yarn that I bought. Some Taylor's yarn is in there as well, which I have not talked about any of that today. She was looking for bulky yarn. She also got a new crochet hook. She bought these all herself. Her grandparents gave her money for buying things along the trip, and she'd saved up some of her own money as well. So she bought a bunch of things. Yeah, I think I'm going to call that it for stash. As we're almost at an hour of just recording time, so this is going to be a long one. Moving on to events. The only one that I am still participating in is Stash Dash. That goes until the end of this month, so August 31st. Basically, you pick a goal and then you try to knit complete projects that add up to that goal or beyond that goal by the end of the month. So it started in May sometime. I can't remember when. Anyway, if you want more details, the link is down below to the Knit Girls website. They're the ones that host the Stash Dash challenge in summer every year. Okay. Can you tell I'm out of practice? We will move on to chatter. First up for chatter, we have books. I definitely read a lot of books on this trip. The first one, I finished listening to The Dragon Reborn, which is the third book in the Wheel of Time series, and this is by Robert Jordan. So I just had like 2 hours left or something left on the audiobook. I didn't have much time for audiobooks because we were together a lot, and often I listened to them with my earbuds in, but in the trailer, they're just... It's weird to have your earbuds in when somebody's sitting right next to you, and we just did a lot more things together, even to relax, which is fine because I love my family. And the trip ended up being more stressful on a day-to-day basis than I had predicted. Of course, we go in with the best intentions to be all prepared and organized, but you know what? There's just lots of things. It's just giving directions to somebody hauling a huge trailer is just stressful. So I really needed some just fluff pieces of literature to read at the end of the night. So I started reading the Sullivans series by Bella Andre. They are romance novels. If you don't like intense romance, if you know what I mean, don't read these, but I thought they were good. They're okay. They're, a little repetitive. There's always a little, something different in each of them. So basically I read the first 9, and then there's a little novella that I read as well. So 1 through 9 and 9.5 they call it. But yeah, and I still, they're on Kobo Plus, so it didn't cost me anything to read them. And so then when I finished one, the next one was just ready to go. So it was easy reading, especially when I couldn't sleep at night because it was too hot. So that was good. I also finished All Hallows Magic by TJ Green, and this is a series that I've been reading for a while. So I think that was the 4th or 5th book. I have started the next one. Again, those are on Kobo Plus, and I'm reading them on my Kobo. So that's very handy for me because when you finish one, the next one's just there and ready to go. I really enjoy these books, though. I've really come to love the characters. So I am also taking my time reading these ones because I'm really enjoying it. It's not just some thing where I'm just like, yep, okay. So really enjoying reading that. the last thing that I finished reading is Kith and Kin. So I've been talking about this one for a long time. Mike bought the book. It's part of the Critical Role series. It's the backstory of two of the characters from their first campaign. It was a wonderful book. Definitely worth a read if you're into Dungeons and Dragons and you've kind of heard about these characters. Even if you haven't seen the Critical Role stuff, you can enjoy this book and kind of understand building characters a bit better, I think. So it was nice to read the backstory, and I'm not going to pronounce the author's name because I would butcher it, but there will be a list down below of all the books. Okay, awesome. That is it for books. Next up, my summer adventure. I'm still uploading some videos. If you have any questions about where we went, specifics, you can look at my personal Instagram, which is Dance and Knit, like dance, the letter N, knit. And I don't have it linked on my public, my Rosberry Crafts Instagram, just because my children are in it and my husband's in it, and they don't always like to be out there on the public at all the time. So anytime, they don't mind some pictures being on, more public facing stuff. If you friend me, it's a private Instagram account, so you have to request to follow me. If you have some sort of knitting in your bio, I'll let you, or if it's a name I recognize or whatever, I'll approve you. But if you come across with some sort of weird profile, I'm not going to approve you because I don't want you looking at my kids. So just keep that in mind. If I decline your request for some reason and you're not sure why, you can always send me a message on my Rosberry Crafts one and then I'll approve you. So that has more details of where we went, what day we were there, and a bit more details about what we actually did. And yeah, but overall it was a wonderful trip. We definitely missed being at home. So, we have a huge house and we love it. We have a large house. And being in a trailer with 4 people, especially 2 of which who are almost adults, was, there was definitely challenges, 1 bathroom. So there was lots of like, okay, I'm going to sit here until you're done. And then, the next person's going to go, okay, everybody's got to go for a bike ride because, one person wants to use the bathroom or whatever. So you didn't get a lot of privacy. We tried to build that in. Not everywhere could we be outside because it was so humid and we were also hot and exhausted from the day. So, there's always challenges, right? But overall, we had a wonderful time. We missed a lot of the bad weather. We left Halifax the day before it flooded. We went through Ottawa in between their 2 tornado warnings. We missed the terrible weather in PEI. We had beautiful weather in PEI. We were just really lucky and feeling very thankful that we were able to get to all the places that we wanted to, see all the beautiful places. So basically we went from Lake Country, where I live, and drove all the way across as far as Cape Breton Island. And then we came back through Ontario at Sault Ste. Marie. We crossed down into the US. We went to Road America, and then we came back across the I-90 through some states. I can't remember. Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, South Dakota. We didn't get to North Dakota this time. We had planned to, but it just didn't work. Wyoming, Montana, Idaho, Washington, and home. I remembered them all. So basically all the provinces except for Newfoundland. We have yet to go to the territories, so that'll be on our list at some point too. And then all the states. Quite a few of those we've done before, but where we crossed from Ontario into the States, we'd never been to that area before, so that was fun. We definitely have some places that we want to go back to. PEI was a huge highlight. I would go back to Cape Breton Island as well in Nova Scotia. Quebec City was beautiful. We went through the old town and it was just amazing. We all want to go back to Road America again. Camping on the side of a racetrack is just an experience in itself. And then we drove through some places and stayed at a few places where we're like in the US where we're like, ooh, we need to come back here because there was this cool thing or that cool thing. So just lots of places. We were really happy overall with the trip and how everything went. The kids enjoyed it. They're going to put together their photo journals and stuff. And yeah, so I am now back to work. I'm in week 2 of work. Yeah, it's good though. I enjoy my job. It's not that I didn't want to go back to work, but I also love all the adventures and the fun with my family that I miss out on because my kids are off at school and I'm at work. So, you know, I do miss them, but work's good too. The last thing I want to talk about is a bit of a downer, so I'm not going to talk about it for very long, but there are some very large wildfires near me. I am safe and happy and they're not that close to us. The smoke has been terrible here. We're basically told not to go out of your house unless you absolutely have to, so you can't do anything outside. The smoke is so thick. Some people are heading out of town just because the smoke is bad. There are parts of Lake Country that are on evacuation order because the fire is closer to them. There are parts of Kelowna and West Kelowna that are on evacuation order. So we are safe and the fires seem to be well in hand. We have had 3 very cool days since the fire started and not very windy. So that is very good news. And hopefully they have that all in hand. There are 3 bigger fires within a 3-hour drive of where we are. So I don't think the smoke is going anywhere soon. So hopefully, I know that they have people from all over Canada and the US coming to help fight these fires. It happens every year now. And, you know, we definitely have lots of things in place to help people, but it's always sad when people lose their homes and the forests burn. So I know it's a thing that has to happen in order for a forest to, you know, the rebirth and regrowth, but you know, it's still hard on us humans. So there you go. Moving on. I will try to continue to update on Instagram as I remember to. I post more about that kind of stuff on my personal Instagram. Again, if you're interested, I don't post a lot though on my personal Instagram. So, if you have any concerns or want to check in on me, feel free. You can shoot me an email or message me on Instagram or comment down below on YouTube, whatever, you know, but, we're not the type to like hang on and try to defend our house. If we get the order to leave, we will pack up and leave immediately because, you know, the emergency crews need to be in here dealing with the fire and not rescuing people that were too stubborn to leave. So anyway, said my piece. I'm not going to say any more about that. I have a lot of strong opinions about the things that happen to start forest fires, and we'll just leave it at that. I hope you enjoyed all of the beautiful yarn that I purchased over the last couple months. I'm gonna work on putting it in my yarn wall now and see how full that is. Maybe I'll take before and after pictures. I also have a large pile of whips. Not sure. I think I can finish my stone wall before. I think I can finish my stone wall and my ripple camisole before Stash ends, but I think that might be it. And maybe my litmus cowl. Maybe those are those are the ones that I'm working on the most. So we'll see. And if I don't, then I don't. It was just an arbitrary goal that I set for myself. And now I know in places that are humid, it is not easy to knit, even when there's air conditioning. I mean, our trailer only does so much difference between the outside and inside. It's just the one roof box. So if it's 30 degrees and humid outside, it's not going to be 20 degrees and not humid inside. It's just not, because it's a trailer. It's not a house. So there you go. Anyway. I think this episode is definitely long enough now. Let me know what you think of the new backdrop. I am using my work spinny chair, so I'm not sure how much I'll be moving or stuff, but let me know if you liked that or if the lighting was better or worse or the microphone, all that stuff. Feel free for any constructive feedback. I always appreciate that. And hopefully we will see you guys next week. Bye.